Jono, that feels like a massive 3 points, and we're starting to build some momentum, obviously heading for the playoffs, but that momentum's starting to build and we can all feel it.
Yeah, we talked after Saturday. Byrne spoke to the lads first about the performance levels. He wasn't particularly happy about it, but we talked about how important winning is, getting into that habit. And I think what that did, the win on Saturday, hanging on at the end, allowed us to come here with the confidence and the momentum, most importantly, of that small little winning run to carry it on. I thought we started the game outstandingly. Listen, let's not beat around the bush. Chorley were a good side. Up in the playoffs at home, I think. That's the first defeat since the first game of the season at home, I think, yeah. So to come here on a Tuesday night, lads have been on the bus for 3-4 hours. We've not, I'm 20 minutes away. But they've been on the coach for 3 hours straight from work. It's an outstanding performance. Probably the absolute opposite of what Saturday was, and we've got our rewards again. And as I said, that's coming from what we've been doing on the training ground. We talked about after the Dagenham and the Gateshead losses, narrow defeats. We were brilliant and felt how close we were, and we're now starting to see the fruits of our labour now.
I suppose you can compare Saturday's game, Farsley going down to 10 men, tonight Chorley going down to 10 men. In what ways did we manage the game better tonight than we did on Saturday?
Well, for a start, the pitch is flat. Although it's not in great nick, the pitch plays a massive part. I think the opposition play a massive part, and I think the weather played a huge part. And I think the difference between going down to 10 men on Saturday was the time frame in between then us going down to 10 men. They were throwing caution to the wind. They had bodies all over the place. Chorley very well coached out of possession in terms of the shape and setup. So it's always difficult to break down. You have to be patient. Whereas against Farsley, we had probably 15-20 good chances. So tonight we had to be patient, and I think once they went down to 10 men, that solid shape stayed. But what we did really well was we kept our width. But Jordan Fulis on the left was a constant threat. What Rammer's like, offering that one in behind. So I think once you, and it happened with the sending off, once you start to offer that penetration in behind the opposition's back line and get them facing their own goal, once you get Jordan Fulis, Glenn Taylor, Rammer in them areas, they're deadly. And that's why the sending off has ended up happening, and then at the end we've done the same again. So all the stuff we worked on, putting the opposition on the back foot, we've not come here and sat off. We've not come here to settle for a point. In fact, we talked about a point not being good enough to the lads before the game, and they've stepped up to the mark massively.
Mark Anderson, besides his goal, got the assist as well. Really good performance from set piece delivery. Was Anderson one of those players who you talk about the bigger picture might have been loaned out potentially, and now is he back in the plans given that performance and recent performances? Yeah, they've gone out on loan to get games. Obviously, with what happened before the Gloucester game with the injuries and the illnesses that we had, Mark ended up staying in the building. He was about to go out on loan. He weren't one that was a long term leaving a football club, but it was to go and get games so it could potentially come back at the end of the season and push on. His attitude personifies what me and Byrne are as managers. To be around the place, not getting minutes previously, and then not necessarily under us, weighted. His attitude in the changing room, passing on information and communicating with the lads in the way that we do, is everything what you need within a group that you want success with. I thought the game on Saturday was absolutely superb first half, the way he controlled the game when everyone else was just turning it. He was putting a foot on the ball, and the time the boy has. When a team goes down to 10 men, you need technical football players, and that's what Mark is. So as soon as they went down to 10 men, he started to pick up pockets of space, started to punish them in terms of his forward passing, and then his goal. You could see him, as it's come into him, you could see him thinking, winding it up, letting go. He does it, well, you know better than I do, how often he's done that throughout his career, and a really well-deserved goal from being patient, but 2 really good performances as well. Well, before us away from the game, obviously the news came out earlier today about Frank and Adriano leaving the club. You speak constantly about the bigger picture and putting pieces of the puzzle in place almost from now to the summer and beyond. So can you do maybe to those fans who are unaware what was the thinking behind that?
We had a chat. Well, listen, both lads have been brilliant for us, by the way. Whatever's gone on previous to us coming in, they've been outstanding, both players. Obviously Adriano's played 90% of the game since we've come in, and Frank's had a decent run as well. So nothing's personal, but the way we've always worked is when you get to this stage of the season, especially in March time, you start to think about what next year looks like in terms of new contracts from Ramshaw, Glenn Taylor, new signings, Jordan Fulis, Jordan Preston. But you're also thinking about, is it fair for lads to go and find a club now, so they're not sat on the backside waiting in May to find a club? And we've always worked like that, and we spoke to them, we explained to them that they weren't part of our long-term plans, we explained why they weren't part of the long-term plans, and if they wanted to find a new club they could do. Both players agreed in terms of, we'll go and do that. And we are thinking of the long term stuff. Listen, don't think we're ever not thinking about what the next game looks like or the next training session looks like, but we're also thinking about the longer term plan. We've now got the four forwards tied up to at least the end of next season, so that's the type of position now with Jude and Claudio and Ryan Hall starts to take shape of what it looks like. It's the rest of the stuff behind it now. We start to think about what that looks like, whether it's renewals, whether it's new players coming in. There'll probably be one or two more go out, if there's any left, that is, with the same conversations. But it's moment in time, and I've just said to the lads post-match in the changing room, this is now our squad. Make no bones about it. This is now our squad, albeit not necessarily all the players we want to bring in, because there's a turnover the time of the year and then in the summer. But they're starting to represent what me and Bern are as managers on the pitch.
And finally, obviously, 2 home games back to back, Kettering and Kidderminster. To start with Kettering, we're a point away from Kettering now, same amount of games. I know what you're going to say, but you'll believe that this squad is more than capable of making them playoff places. We're chipping away, we're gaining ground, so you believe, don't you?
I think it's more important that the players believe. We wouldn't have ever took the job if we didn't think we could get this club to where it should be. Now and again in the long term, which is ultimately promotions, but this season was all going to take time. We said that to the lads. It was going to take time with the transition of players coming in and probably more importantly the players going out. We start to see a settled team and a settled shape and a settled squad, although much more compact and tight. So I think once you get them things, you get that consistency in personnel, consistency in performance, and it takes momentum in terms of results. And I think that's what we're starting to see. Look, it's a little mini run. It's 3 wins out of 4 with a draw thrown in there, 4 unbeaten, 3 clean sheets out of the 4. And a lot of people don't talk about it. Actually, we played out of our last 7 games, we played 6 away from home. Not many other sides in the country would have done what we've had to do. And when you think about, where we're travelling from, the boys are travelling from. It's a long way to come. So when you come to a place like this on a Tuesday night, when you go to Chester on a Tuesday night, you're travelling across the country. But that's, I've got nothing but good things to say about the group at this moment in time. As I said, there's confidence in there. All we care about is the Kettering game on Saturday, and then it's the Kidderminster game next Tuesday. We just got to, as I said, we're thinking long term. We've also got to think short term, which is the game on Saturday. But our belief is that we can go and win each game rather than thinking where we're going to get to at the end.